I feel that the biggest challenge was not writing like a 30 pages script for this video. It's going to be sit with my back straight for 1.5 hours. So September was not so long ago, and that meant that Ginny&Georgia season 4 production had to start. And before yesterday, I didn't have any physical evidence that the show is actually in production. Nobody could confirm it. Everybody was like, yeah, they promise, but we're traumatized by season 3 and Austin being 30. So I was like, God, if we will see season 4 before he literally takes his pension money from the bank just to run away from the country and from his family, that would be great. But yesterday on the Netflix page, they finally posted a video that yes, they're officially working on season 4.
Season 4! Woo! Hi you guys, Brienne here. Welcome to our first day of shooting season 4 for Ginny&Georgia.
And I took it as a sign. Is it crooked? Is it okay? My beautiful darling girls, Ginny&Georgia. So why the show altered my brain chemistry so much? I mean, hello, this is literally Gilmore Girls, but with criminal activities. Like if Lorelai would be a serial killer on the side, just as her hobby. So we get Ginny. She literally has her name in the name of the show. So probably this is a good time to put on a disclaimer, because when I was studying this show while doing the recap, I didn't think that any of my opinions will change drastically about the characters, because I've seen shows like 100 times. But I was very surprised actually that I kind of saw everybody from the different side. My opinion didn't change about my girl Ginny though. I will never be tired of defending her, because the amount of trauma this girl is carrying on her shoulders is insane. You can think whatever about her. You can think that she's a brat, you can think that she's ungrateful and all this kind of things, but we will go into this, okay? We have Ginny. Ginny is not happy to be here. We have someone else. And not just someone else, is Georgia. Yeah, I mean, bow in front of the queen. She is star of the show. She's holding my entire mentality on the tip of the knife that she is sharpening to kill her next husband. If I would be her daughter, I would let her traumatize me. I would be like, feel free, mother. Put a knife in my chest. What's happening here? So Georgia, your typical single mom, she takes her kids and moves to a literal Wellsbury. We're gonna be talking about this city a lot, so it's Wellsbury. And it all happens after her husband's sudden death. Oh wow, what could have happened? Yeah, I said kids as in multiple. Yeah, we have a son. His name is Austin. Austin is not that important, you know. He's not even in the name of the show, so I don't know. He's just there, kinda. This is the husband that dies. We also don't care about him. So we've already moved like 50 times, and every time is supposed to be the freshest start. So Wellsbury is like the freshest of them all, because now we actually have the money to maintain the lifestyle that we always deserved. How did we get the money? Well, our late husband, Kenny, he was kind enough to leave us all the money right before he died. No, joking, he didn't do that. We have to fight for them for like entire first season, but it doesn't matter. He died, money's ours. So we move to the fine town of Wellsbury. Georgia meets Ellen, the head of the Baker's family, and so does Ginny meet Maxine and Marcus, and obviously immediately falls in love with them. I mean, who wouldn't like people raised by Ellen? Who wouldn't? Georgia promises the kids that she'll take a break from men, and it's gonna be just 3 of them for a while, because Kenny died like 15 minutes ago, literally. But this is kind of embarrassing, but We'll have him like this, okay? He's in our hearts with us. Starting literally from the very first episode, we dive straight into Georgia's past and learn that she's not another Lorelai. She's pretty much Georgia, and her past was pretty dark. She suffered abuse, teenage pregnancies, parents with drug addictions. She poisoned her first husband. There is not a single episode that doesn't show us that, like, yeah, she's not your regular single mom. Here's Hunter, and Ginny is going to be bullied into a relationship with him pretty much the whole entire first season. So he's gonna be there for now. Episode 2 is kind of intense. Ginny meets Raisha, but she, I think, is being a bit overstimulated by everything that is happening right now because she never really had friends before, and now the entire school wants to be her friends. So she's way more into the idea of hanging out with man. We're not G in man yet. Again, also gets bullied into a relationship with Hunter. Abby and Nora accuse her of stealing. She loses her virginity to Marcus. You know, just your regular day in Wellsbury. While Georgia gets into the lion's den and decides that, okay, now that I get a job, it's time to fuck up my kids' credit scores. I mean, she doesn't do it yet, but I bet the idea is already there. We also learn a bit more about her past, and this is how we're getting introduced to Zion. Okay, so starting with episode 3.
Friday, happy Friday. Good morning, Ginny. Welcome to Friday.
Gentle reminder, they're 15. Okay, open your memories in Snapchat when you were 15. Sophomore sleepover? What was it called? Anyways, doesn't matter. It's $100 a night. That's why it's Wellsbury. This is kind of where it plays off for Ginny because Georgia really wants her to be involved into this kind of things. So she's going to this sleepover. If Georgia didn't come from the background where she wouldn't need to take the skin off her bones to give to her kids, she would probably say, $100 for a sleepover? Is it like in a 5-star hotel with the sauna and a lobster dinner, surf and turf? Just a couple of days in, we become the G in the Meng. We're officially a gang now. Georgia steals some more money from school. That's fun. Ginny bonds with Marcus in the bathroom because she's obviously into Marcus, but not so long because Hunter wants her to be his girlfriend. So he suggests her, why don't we become boyfriend and girlfriend? But at least we got the flashback with my favorite man on the show. His face I actually didn't forget to print because he's important, okay? We like Joe. We're Team Joe in this house. And our dear girl Maxine gets into Sophie. In the episode 4, Ginny sends picture in her bra to her boyfriend. And this is exactly why I think she was bullied into relationship with him, because she's like, okay, I've never had a boyfriend before, maybe this is what you do, you know, like Maxine literally photoshopped this picture for Ginny to send to Hunter, and guess what he does? He leaves her unseen. Yeah, is that bad? So obviously she sends this picture to Marcus, and yeah, I mean, can I blame her for that? Not that much, because she actually very obviously into Marcus since the day she met him in this Wednesday t-shirt. We get another bad scene with Mr. Gibson, English teacher. I don't care what his name is. He also doesn't get a picture on this wall just because I refuse to spend money to bring his face.
Women get a million different messages on how they're supposed to be. It's confusing.
Okay, Ginny, you need to calm down. You're being aggressive.
I'm about to beat this bitch up.
After this scene, I really get why Ginny burns. I do think it's not the problem just gotten out of nowhere, and I really do think that Georgia takes up too much space in her life. I really do get it. I really do get it that it's hard to take space in a house when you live with someone like Georgia. I mean, she's gorgeous, she's full of ideas, she throws that casino night. Like, how long has she been the mayoress in the office? For like, what, a week? And she throws this kind of ideas. I bet this town never had anything like this before. That brain of hers is working really hard. Does it make it easier for Ginny? I don't think so. Anyways, turns out that Hunter left us on scene because he was writing this new album for Taylor Swift. And this is one of the featured songs.
I can barely breathe when you are near.
And I'm really gonna scare that you're gonna disappear. I can't breathe when you are near. Okay. You're everything and more to me. We've dated for a week. You left me on scene with my naked picture. I'm everything and more to you. I am busy writing songs for you. That's why I'm leaving you on scene. Okay, Hunter, I hear ya. So, first of all, I really appreciate special episodes on the show for Halloween, for Christmas, because again, this aesthetic is just unbeatable. Anyways, somehow after this featured song on Taylor Swift's album, Ginny gets popular, like Ginny got the credit. Georgia is reminded by Ellen that she's a Wellsbury mom now, so she really needs to step up her decorations game. And Georgia does what she does the best, steals them from someone else. Later, my girls, Ellen and Georgia, they will go on a brunch where Georgia will learn that Paul is actually really fond of her and she is very fond of Paul. Of course, just to make the pain a bit more dumb after Kenny passed, because we love Kenny so much, so dear he is to our hearts. This same day, I assume Georgia and Paul, they go on a date, and I really don't feel chemistry between them. Like, I might be biased, and I will say that this man works way better for her, and this interaction over burrito, it was my Roman Empire. With Paul, was like, yeah, that sad piece of paper, I don't feel nothing. I mean, I get it why they think that they would work together. Okay, you know, life is about to make mistakes. Yeah, we're not bringing another man into the house anyways, because we promised our kids, right? So Hunter thinks that since he wrote a song to Ginny, again, how long have we been dating? 2 weeks? Okay, we're meeting the parents. Parents are cool. Parents are incredible. House is not broken. Everything works. They're wealthy enough for his sister to change 5 majors. Ginny's like sitting there trying to make herself the smallest version just because she's like, okay, you know, like dynamics that are not fucked up. I don't know how to thrive into this household. So we get another flashback into Georgia's early years, into Ginny's first years of life. We get to meet Lynette, Zion's mother. This is where we learn why Zion and Georgia are not together, because supposedly Georgia just took Ginny out and ran away. I really get it. Georgia comes from the background where he learned either you kill or you're being killed. And that's not mentality of someone who would trust people easily, especially with something that is, I don't know, something like your child, for example, even if they had good intentions, which at that point in that day, I don't think they had. I don't think that they gave her any guarantees that they're not gonna take Ginny away from her and not throw her away on the streets. Yeah, risking losing your child to people that you don't really like, to people that you don't really know, it's a very hard situation. I really get Georgia on that one. Ginny keeps brushing Marcus off because since Hunter is barely breathing, they can't be together. She needs to be the airbag for Hunter currently. And since it's a Halloween special episode, we're getting to Brody's basement. Actually, for the second time. First time she got stoned. We just got into town and we're getting stoned with the Mang and their friends. Honestly, apart from their friend group, I don't think that anybody was fond of Brody's basement. Braisha is upset with Ginny that she dresses as Britney Spears. And Austin, you remember this guy? You remember our son? Like, literally our son, you remember? He stabs Zach in the hand. Yeah, because that little guy is like, he needs help. So in episode 6, we're getting called to the principal office because, yeah, that kid is the next Ted Bundy if nobody will start hugging him like right this moment. This episode is kind of a mess. We have this questionable woman, her name is Cynthia. I'm gonna have a bit of love-hate relationship with her throughout the season. And also Maddie, Georgia's sister, shows up. And this is the episode where I realized completely all of the Ginny struggles. On the drive from the principal's office regarding the stabbing, Ginny says to Georgia that, Mom, maybe it's a good idea to give Austin to therapy. And Georgia's like, no, he's my perfect baby boy. He's just stressed. Okay, we're getting this very weird dialogue where I'm like, okay, Georgia, I stand you. I stand you. You're the queen. I get it. But your methods are kind of questionable. Georgia moves these kids 12 times. Ginny was moved 12 times. Probably Austin was moved less because he's just younger. Ginny has a pretty healthy person's mentality that, like, you know, sometimes, yeah, you would fuck up. That doesn't mean every single time that we have to go, that we have to run away from the city just because we fucked something up. I mean, obviously, unless you kill someone. Ginny doesn't know that we killed anyone yet, so, and Georgia's like, no. Digging into dust is just getting dirty, so, like, if you fuck up, you move. So we get their core differences because Ginny, who didn't witness as many horrific things as Georgia did, again, yet, Ginny's like, I would much rather deal with my problems and stay in one place, and Georgia wants to run away. And the difference at this core for a 15-year-old with somebody as close as your mom, that's a damn good reason to hurt yourself. This is her way of coping. Because she has no one to talk to. Her newly friends, Maxine. Don't get me wrong, I loved Maxine for 3 entire seasons, and after analyzing the show, I just don't understand how. Maybe somebody can explain to me why we love Maxine so much. I mean, I get this. She's very funny. She's very comic. She's very talented. But it's been 6 episodes so far. She didn't ask Ginny a single time, like, hey, girl, how are you? She only talks about Sophie. She only talks about herself. She only talks about things that she's interested in. Ginny is completely alone. Like, she has no one. It doesn't stop here. It doesn't stop because then, again, we get Georgia's sister showing up. And we learn from Ginny that apparently, she told her that she was an only child. I mean, imagine, you're 15 and suddenly your mother's sister shows up into your house that you didn't know about. And not only that George is not even her real name. Ginny crashes out to Hunter. You know, we're using him for boyfriend reasons for the first time in our life. And Hunter is finally able to grasp onto some air and becoming a voice of sense. He's like, oh, haven't you thought about that maybe she had a reason to hide it from you? Maybe she wanted to protect you. And she's like, hey, whose side are you on? And I mean, I get it. We tend to dramatize things. Like, things tend to be way bigger when we're 15, you know, like our hormones, our emotions, they're out of hand. So I get it why she's so angry. We get to see the brunch with Abigail and Ginny because Abigail quotes Maxine and Nora, they don't come from broken homes, and it shows. Abby's been friends with these girls her entire life. I mean, probably she doesn't know anyone apart from them because like Valsbury has a population of like 15 people that are all on this wall. So maybe she just doesn't have a choice because other people so horrible to her that she's like, okay, maybe Maxine and Nora are not the worst. But now she has Ginny. And I just love these girls so much. I'm gonna put a picture just of them. I feel that Ginny and Abigail, honestly, canonically, should have been besties, ditching the whole Mang thing and just becoming the egg. This Maddie girl, she actually is not here to reconnect and bond. There is like a detective that's been here for like kind of the entire season. I just let it slip because he didn't have anything major on her yet. Maddie is here to rat us out. So they don't stay that long at all. She just literally comes, like puts all this information onto Ginny and Austin. Yeah, she has a sister. Yeah, her real name is Mary. And yeah, I'm here to rat you out to the detective who's Kenny's ex-wife hired so they can get all the money. I don't want to talk about that. I don't even know how Georgia survived to this point of her life without going to therapy, but I guess this is why we kill people. Yeah. So they leave. Ginny is like, what the hell, mother? So she goes digging through her stuff to find some answers, and she finds a gun. She skipped school for that, so knowing that nobody is at home, Georgia comes and hears like so her thoughts go to a very healthy decision. Somebody's in the house, so they point guns at each other. And I think this is a beautiful mother-daughter dynamic. And if you still don't understand why Ginny burns at this point. Next episode is like the peak of Ginny's angriness and angstiness because it's her 16th birthday. She's a real woman now and she's a real bitch to Georgia. Okay, take off your shoes. Okay, and now step into Ginny's shoes. And now project this entire situation onto yourself. Your mother pointed a gun at you the night before your birthday and in the morning gave you cake. you're gonna be, oh wow, mother, thank you so much. This is everything I ever wanted. Here's the thing about Ginny. She really wants to know. Sometimes kids don't want to get into their parents' business, you know? They don't go rummage through their things. They close their eyes on everything that parents are doing just simply because they're like, I'm not interested. Ginny is asking her mother all the time, communicating to her, mother, please tell me, what have you done? I can't do this because I'm carrying the load that I don't even know about. It's like me and you against the world, mother? Why? Who are we against? At least, can you tell me? She literally tells her, like, can you start trusting me with your secrets? And Georgia stuffs cakes into Ginny's face. We go to school and guess who there is? There is Hunter. There is fucking Hunter. Like, honestly, if I would be dating him, I would just walk around like turning like this, you know? Like, what is this man preparing for today? It was a dance. And this is the moment that I knew that my guy doesn't give a single little damn about what's going on inside their relationship. He only cares about what school is gonna sing because he is a showman. He wants to be the greatest showman. So this is what he does. While watching this whole show, I just kind of realized that at least in the past 2 episodes, Marcus gets the same amount of screen time that Ellen does. It's like 2 of my favorite characters on the show with the least screen time. Georgia throws this really nice birthday party for Ginny. They are all rebellious because they want to drink. So they all leave to Maxine's house. Georgia calls cops on them. Paul goes to pick up Ginny. And after that, Georgia decides to open up to Ginny. She's like, okay, if you're going to act insane, maybe I should tell you things. Who would have thought? Their relationship got a bit better. We're at episode 8, almost at the finish of season 1. Good news, Zion appears. Bad news, Zion appears. And he's all this like, I'm such a cool dad. I'm gonna be here once a year, but I'm gonna help you with an essay. And I mean, he kind of did because later Ginny discovers the talent to write poetry, and we can appreciate that. My girl Abigail, like my entire life, Abigail is going through so much and nobody notices this. Like, nobody cares about Abigail. Nobody asks Abigail how is she doing, and her parents are getting a divorce. Later on, she's gonna slap the shit out of Ginny for this and that's why I love them so much. Zion is here to be the man, you know, be like, okay, we're all ready now, let's be a family. You know, he promises the world to Georgia, he promises the world to Ginny. To me? Hello? Like, I'm here, the third wall. I'm literally like the webcam in your apartment watching everything that you do. And then they sleep together and everything goes to hell. Ginny finds out that they slept together, so she's like, okay, this is not gonna happen. Now everything is gonna go to shit because I know these people. And this same time, after interacting in this whole entire season in total of 15 minutes, Marcus climbs into Ginny's window to tell her that he developed feelings for her that are called love. And Ginny's like, not you, not right now. I mean, she said very bad and mean things to him, but I get it, you know, like, read the room, Marcus. Read the house, Marcus. But yeah, he doesn't do that, so he goes and crashes into the ditch. And in episode 9, Ginny realizes, like, okay, he crashed into the ditch, he almost died. Maybe I like him too. Georgia is extremely stressed because this whole entire time the detective was up our ass. She was trying to dig Kenny up to put his ashes into fireworks for the election on time. We're not stressing about anybody finding Kenny, you know, we're stressing about not making fireworks on time. Anyways, we're going to the Bakers. We're going to the Bakers as a family. And after that, Zion takes pictures of Georgia and Paul on their election. And he decided, like, maybe I shouldn't be here. Maybe your guys are happy without me. So he leaves. Sophie breaks up with Maxine. I mean, we weren't following this relationship at all, just because I think that everything that's going on in this season, this is a background noise. So obviously Maxine is upset. This is the only thing we're going to be talking about for the next season, or until she finds somebody new to crash over. So Meng is supposed to be over there for Maxine. So Ginny uses this as an opportunity to come and say hello to Marcus and tell him that, okay, Marcus, this 15 minutes, they meant so much to me as well. So she also confesses her love to him and they almost kiss. And my girl Abigail gets in the middle of it. One more important thing. You remember this woman, Cynthia? She breaks into the mayor's office, goes into Georgia's computer, and finds out that this entire time she's been stealing money from town to maintain her Wellsbury dream. Episode 10. So, because Austin is not loved, after his detention was over, he decided that he's gonna go and live in the forest. Honestly, don't understand why he was coming back to his house at this point. I think forest is better than living under the same roof that Ginny and Georgia do. Love my girls though. Anyways, nobody pays attention to it. Nobody's interested about Austin. Like, do you see his name in this show? If he would be important, it would be Ginny and Georgia and Austin. He's just there for the plot development, literally. So Cynthia comes to the office, becomes brave, and tells Georgia that, I know that she's been stealing money. And Georgia's like, no, Kenny's operation was successful. He's in the fireworks. Everything is prepared. So money's back. And I mean, whose side am I supposed to be on? Am I supposed to be on Georgia's side just because she's the protagonist of this entire universe? This Sing situation is happening. Maxine is everything I ever want to be. She is the moment. She's the legend. Love her so much. When the Marcus crashed, she found phone in the couch with the text from Ginny and was this picture. If only Hunter would reply to it. God damn it. Okay, it's Hunter's fault after all. So this Sing break becomes an entire drama where everything comes clean. Ginny is the worst person because he cheated on beautiful Hunter with awful, greasy, sticky Marcus. Abigail, my girl, did this. Can I blame her? I'm not gonna blame her. Like, Abigail cannot do anything to disappoint me, okay? Hunter goes with, I was too good for you anyway, line. I was too good for you. I wrote songs. I danced. What else can you potentially need? Ellen breaks up with Georgia because she didn't tell her on time that Marcus is climbing through Ginny's window. And Ginny decides, fuck this shit. So she just takes Austin and they leave. And this is how first season ends. Okay, my dear survivors of season 1, don't get relaxed. Wait, season 2 is here and oh boy, it doesn't get easier. And originally I would tell you before doing this analysis that second season was my favorite. Not anymore. So Ginny doesn't run away that far. She lands at Zion's place. I cannot believe I ever liked you. I cannot believe that because he literally gaslights Ginny into telling her that I can't control what your mother thinks or does. As if you didn't take the picture and decided that everybody will be better off without you. As if you didn't do it. I can't with this man. He blames everything on Georgia very successfully. I mean, you don't have to add wood into this fire in the relationship of Ginny and Georgia. You don't have to do that. Tiny detail that I missed in previous season because I literally didn't think it was that important, but Paul kind of proposed to Georgia after that. Now he moved in. It's been like 20 minutes since Kenny died. Yeah, we didn't stay that long without a man in the house, and this is just something we'll have to accept. So this season, we're actually getting into Cynthia's house and learn her husband is sick. That kind of explains a lot of her behaviors, at least for me. And if you notice, I put him into like that section, that people section. That's what I do here. This is also kind of where we start getting interactions between Joe and Cynthia. Honestly, if they would actually get into a relationship, I mean, I am Georgia stan all the way. I love them so much. I think he's the best man that ever existed on planet Earth, and I want him to be with my girl Georgia. But I wouldn't be mad at this couple. I'm just saying. I would root for this couple because at this point, I don't root for a single person over 30 in this show. This is a Thanksgiving episode. We get 2 separate Thanksgivings. So Georgia goes to meet Paul's parents. I mean, if Paul didn't get a printed picture, you kind of get the idea that his parents wouldn't either because, I mean, after all, they're like, she's a lady with like too many baby daddies, too much stuff. If he was raised in this kind of mentality. I don't know how he is with Georgia. And we also get a Thanksgiving with Lynette. Dare I say that she kind of started growing on me. I genuinely believe that at least she wished well for Ginny and maybe even for Austin. There is a tiny place in her heart. In this episode, we see the conflict of moral literally being related to someone, because detective talked to Ginny and told her that, like, you know, your mother is dangerous, and she's like, I'm aware. So she's very conflicted about whether she wants to support Georgia or whether she wants people to live. So she burns, and when Zion insists that they need to go and have Friday at her house, she confesses to him that she burns just not to go back. Like, she doesn't want to be there so bad. We also see that Marcus is not doing great, like, at all. I think this is the seeds that we start to plant with him having his depressive episode, which is going to last for like 2 seasons. And when we actually do have Thanksgiving at Georgia's place, Ginny is so desperate of not telling Georgia how she feels. I don't even know why, because she probably thinks that she's not gonna understand or she's gonna do something, and she just doesn't want to know. So she's like, okay, you know, I'm willing to move back into the place that's like, I literally can't go a single day without burning, just for her not to know. Is it healthy? No, but this is what we have. Georgia literally tells Paul, I don't care about their feelings, just move in. Because Paul still thinks that this is the reason that they're upset, you know, this is the reason that they ran away, because they got engaged. At least she asks permission from Austin, I appreciate that. But back into the office, not everything is as amazing as we portray it to be, because Nick knows that Georgia actually stole money, just put it back. So he also becomes conflicted. He's like, who are you, girl? Because we will see a lot of their interaction of him trying to be her friend, but at the same time is like kind of not knowing where he stands, you know? Maxine is being the worst, because back at school, Maxine is being like, oh my god, Hunter, that was so fun, so hilarious when this model reached out to you. Like, what are you telling me? That there are models in the world who are reaching out to literal 16-year-olds? That's a felony, Maxine. So yeah, no support from that side. Like, we can just forget about them all. Georgia is using her dead husband Kenny to get to Cynthia because she wants to get into the neighborhood club. Well, that all will be useless, because Cynthia is gonna be like, no, I'm not gonna give sponsorship to this person. So this is where we stand right now in our relationship with Cynthia. So whatever Georgia is gonna do is going to make me question things a lot. We also get a flashback into Georgia's first husband. He was introduced in the previous episode with Maddie and everything, but until it gets to the culminating point, I don't want to look at it. It's distracting me. Like, everything that's going on is overstimulating me. We get to the point that she accidentally overdosed him. I don't know, probably she just wanted to make him go to sleep or something. Not forever sleep, just like take a nap so she can just pack her things and leave with Ginny. But she accidentally overdosed him, so he died. And this is where the gang comes into the picture, and we're shown that they were literally the only people taking care of Georgia this entire time. So Maxine being Maxine, it's been 4 episodes since Sophie broke up with us. We're still not over it. An episode ago, she just brushed Abigail off. Am I supposed to be rooting for her? I mean, Nora just doesn't have a backbone, you know? She just goes with the flow. I mean, she's just a chill gal. She's not there pretending to be the main character. She's like very acknowledged of her privilege and everything. So she's just there, you know, like enjoying her life. And can I blame her? She's like, I'm gonna be wherever is less drama. And Abby and Ginny, there's a lot of drama there. But with Maxine, yeah, it really pains me. So Ginny is back into therapy, thank God. She talks about Thanksgiving. She talks about burning again. She's getting this journal where we're gonna write poetry. Back at home, where Ginny lets Georgia know that, yeah, mom, I know that you fucked up our credit score. We have yet another conversation about trust. And again, these people are so different down to their core, and the way they just think about this world and the way that they just function is so different, because with Georgia, either you're with me or I kill you. With Ginny is a bit different. I feel that after this conversation of them, a lot of people would go back to the mindset that Ginny is just a brat and she doesn't understand a lot of things. But again, I will not stop repeating that like if you never dive your child into where you come from, how do you expect her to relate to you? How do you expect her to be grateful, to understand what you do? So Ginny takes steam on Marcus while he obviously has a very bad time himself. Georgia is framing Cynthia at the book club. So Hunter writes another song about breakup. He's a literal Taylor Swift if she would be 16 and a man. Abigail and Ginny, they find their way back to each other. Thank God, I'm so happy about it. I honestly think that it should have stayed this way. They talk shit about everybody. They talk shit about Maxine, and it felt good. It felt good. Honestly, when I was watching it just episode after episode after episode without thinking much, I was like, it's kind of bitchy. It's kind of bitchy. She's your friend. But now that I rewrote every single episode, I was like, well deserved. Third episode of second season, we get this heartbreaking conversation of them, which was leading to Ginny mentioning the real name of Georgia to Paul. She just went to like sit in the car and cool down, and Ginny followed her after she crashed out to Marcus yet another time. Marcus, my guy, I appreciate you very much, but like, can we take care of ourselves? Because he's been getting so bad. He's been getting worse and worse and worse and worse. They have this incredible conversation in the car where we're kind of going back to normal. Ginny is forced to understand Georgia, while Georgia doesn't have to put any thought in how she's making Ginny feel, because in her thoughts, she has successfully protected them from everything that she was afraid of without realizing what damage she did to them. Saying to your 16-year-olds, you cannot tell anyone that you know. And it's a hella heavy load. Imagine you know someone who killed someone. Is it easy to carry these kind of things? In episode 4, it's Maxine's and Marcus's birthdays. And Maxine just loves to make me hate her because Abigail decorates a tree for her. She's like, okay, you know, I'm willing to put all these things behind us. I'm willing to be your friend. You know what Maxine does? She rips it off. Georgia and Ellen finally make up. Finally, thank God, this is the only breakup I care about in the show. Maxine should really listen to the advices that her mother gives to her.
People make mistakes, and if you push everyone away, you will not have anyone left.
Ginny and Georgia are finally getting on a better note. Georgia asks Ginny to be her maid of honor. You know, everything is kind of going well. Brody's basement gets flooded, so we can throw a party for Maxine. So she crashes out on Ginny, is like, I hate you. When are you gonna apologize to me? And Ginny's like, when are you gonna apologize to me for being the shittiest friend like since the second that I know you? I mean, you can fight me on that, you can hate me for that, but tell me one situation in season 1 or 2 so far where we came that Maxine has been good to Ginny, or that Maxine at least asked Ginny a single time, how are you? Tell me, give me the time code. They make up, Ginny throws this party for Maxine, everything seems to be going well. At least we're going to therapist instead of burning. I feel that it's like a bit more a breather. It's like, you know, we've been holding our breath this entire time, now we can do a bit like... So Georgia hosts a murder mystery party, which we never get to witness, which is like a criminal offense to me because we witness literally everything else apart from this party. Is like, why not? Ginny finally took a side. She decided that she's going to protect her mother. She's still sharing her feelings with Marcus, and it really starts to be growing on me because I feel that Marcus is a really, really good boy that is going to grow up into a really, really good man. Georgia, being the cool mom that she is, tells to other parents that like, actually, girls wrote an apology note to me, so, you know, they can go to Brody's basement and smoke weed. It's okay. So that's what they do. And Abigail, my girl... she gets the worst treatment from the man around her. And as somebody who struggled from eating disorder exactly because of these reasons as a teen, I'm like, why is she me? Breezer ends because this episode ends with Ginny reading her poem at the open mic, and Georgia is there, and oh my god, this poem, you guys, it's gonna backstab us so bad. But for now, Georgia is just offended that Ginny inherited the sins from the monster that she came from. If you would just go and listen to it, like actually listen to it, it describes Ginny's feelings very, very precisely. And Cynthia and Joe, they kiss. In episode 6, it's another Christmas special, and I love it. We decide to make a Christmas dinner, and everyone is coming, which is not a good idea to gather everybody in the Miller's household. We get Gil. To make myself feel a bit better, Gil belongs in the dead man section. At this stage, we cannot have a single interaction of Ginny with Georgia without them talking about their big feelings. I mean, it's literally like next day after she read the poem, so I get it. But at this point, it's just kind of like, they never have a normal interaction as of mother-daughter. My guy, Austin, you still remember Austin? This little guy right here, in search of gifts, he finds a gun. This action will have consequences. Hide guns where your kids can't find them. He is not as vocal about his feelings as Ginny is, for example. So I think this is like such a major difference between our kids, because at least Ginny is like screaming every day, you know, that like, I'm in pain. Somebody help me. No, Austin is suffering in silence. And this is scary. Before bakers go on Christmas, Ginny and Marcus say, I love you to each other. And now it's been a bit more than 15 minutes of instruction. So I'm actually here for this. I am rooting for this. I'm loving these two. I think this is the best place that they have been so far and probably will be. After all the progress that we did, Ginny bursts again at Christmas and dinner goes as bad as you can possibly imagine it. Georgia literally storms out to go to the blue farm to talk with the only person that she actually likes. I want to believe that. And yeah, Joe makes love to Cynthia. In the end of episode 6, Georgia finds Ginny's diary, reads about her burning. We get, I cannot even think about this scene without having tears in my eyes, and them hugging to Silent Night. I actually think that there was quite some references about like Virgin Mary with her child, with Ginny and Georgia. You don't get this connection with kids and their parents, or with friends, or with couples. It's very, very rare that people are like this. And I'm like, I cannot be thinking about this without crying. And it breaks my heart so much that both of them went through so much pain, because at the end of the day, I just want them to be happy. So Georgia insists to go to Ginny's therapy to understand her better. But again, she ends up taking all the space from Ginny. Everything back to her feelings, back to her motivations. And like, I protected you from the things that nobody protected me from. But she finally will start trying, I guess, to hear and understand Ginny better, because she doesn't want her daughter to burn herself. Gil officially shows up and inserts himself into Austin's life. So Cynthia and Joe have some kind of relationship going on, I would assume. So Maxine gets a new crush on Silver this time, and oh my god, just bear with us. Just bear with us. Ginny refused to lead the class. Mr. Gideon has been trying to put his job onto Ginny's shoulder to make his class more inclusive, and Ginny was like, ain't not my problem. And she throws Georgia a bachelorette's party. At the same time, we get a flashback to one of Ginny's birthdays, and we see a bruise on Georgia's face. And she's with Gil. Read the room. And for the first time in 17 episodes, Maxine apologizes to Ginny, and she actually asks Ginny, how are you? It doesn't last long though, because she starts talking about Silver straight away. So we're getting to the final of season 2, and it gets dark. It gets heavy, so bear with me. This is the first episode that we get from Marcus's perspective, and he is very, very deep into depression hole, which again has been creeping onto him for this entire season at least. I would have hated to call Ginny a bad girlfriend, but she doesn't see shit. I mean, I've been talking about Maxine this whole entire time, not asking anybody about anything, but like again, in Ginny's world, the problems are real, and in Maxine's problem, the problems are not so real in comparison to Ginny's, but because she doesn't know anything else, so her problem to her seems a bit real. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares about Marcus. Austin and Marcus and Joe is like the holy trinity of this series, and all of them are not happy. So since Ginny relies on Marcus so much, and we can see how bad it's gonna be, you can feel it, you sense it in the air. Cynthia and Joe, they broke up Because Cynthia is like, maybe it's bad to technically be cheating on my dying husband. We go to yearly Valsbury Broadway show, and the reason why I love my girl Maxine so much. And guess what? We don't go without drama, because in the second act, as usual, Marcus breaks up with Ginny. If he would just explain to her instead of suffering in silence like we all like to do, if they would just communicate, there wouldn't be half of the content for the drama that we went through. But since nobody's communicating, it's just bad. Georgia's back for whatever intentions she has for Cynthia, and Cynthia is breaking down in her hands because it's so heavy. The only people who decide to communicate in this episode is actually, surprise, surprise, Ginny and Georgia. And Georgia tells Ginny basically everything. She's like, okay, now for you to know everything, I might have accidentally overdosed my first husband. Yes, I had a first husband. Now you know everything. And Ginny's like, okay. Joe comes to confess his endless love for Georgia since he was like 15 and saw her for the first time. And Georgia's like, there ain't nothing that I'm not thinking about. Georgia! What are you doing? Gil shows up, he beats the shit out of Georgia, so Austin goes back to where he found his Christmas gift and uses it to shoot Gil in the hand. And then we have to pretend to be a happy family for Paul, who comes home and is like, I have a totally normal family. I don't understand why everybody's giving me side-eye. We're about to wrap up the second season with our wedding day. After probably the most traumatic nights of their lives so far, Ginny is still managing to think about Marcus and go through their pictures, and is like, this is still worse. Break up with my boyfriend of 15 minutes is worse than seeing somebody being shot. I miss being a teenager. Maxine is being a good sister to Marcus for the first time, I believe, in their 16 years. And she tells Ginny, you know, girl, it's actually not about you. Who would have thought? He's actually struggling with his depression currently, and he would really need a friend instead of a girlfriend. At the same time, Gabriel comes out to Nikki that he's not Jesse Jess. He's actually a private investigator who was hired to look into Georgia. And Nick is like, is anything in my life going to be not about Georgia? He gets upset, and Georgia is planning her leave. This detective, he's up my ass. Everything's crumbling apart. Everybody hates me. We need to move. We need to keep running. And Ginny's like, whoa, 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 whoa. We did not make this amount of progress for us to just leave right now, mother. Be an adult, talk to Paul. So that's what Georgia does. She dumps, I would say, like 60% of the information on Paul, you know, like obviously keeping some details to herself because like we don't want to go to jail actually. Oh my god, I'm sorry, I missed that in previous episode Georgia suffocated Tom and Austin witnessed it. This is the detail that she doesn't tell to Paul. Paul leaves to sleep on it in his office, which honestly should be remodeled to be his bedroom at this point, at the amount of time that this man is going to be spending his time there. Then he goes back and decides that it's time to get Gil cancelled and out of the picture. So we process with the wedding. Ginny organizes the event, but Georgia is still being taken away to the prison. Season 3 is the most intense of them all so far, and it's more trial based. So a lot of demons will come out. Austin is like 30 years old. He witnesses a very traumatic scene of his mother being drugged away by the police, so he just grows up overnight. Georgia spends her first morning in jail. We go back to Gil because I assume that this is the person who traumatized her the most after her father, and we get that, okay, this woman is tough, so it's not that easy to scare her, at least not now. She's not letting her guards down yet. Ginny's back in school and talks to the only person who actually listens to her, Abigail. Here is where we kind of start with Maxine's victim arc out of nowhere for some reason, because Maxine decides that since Abby and Ginny are closer now, and Ginny does not put Maxine as her top friend anymore after everything that happened between them. I mean, again, for me, it's almost like Maxine is failing to understand that Ginny's mother is literally in jail and she's not very interested right now in other drama. So we go to visit Georgia in prison, Ginny and Austin, and Georgia kindly reminds Ginny, after asking her, like, are you burning? But remember, you cannot tell anyone. We have to carry this load together. Zion takes Ginny to this poetry class where she meets Wolf. I guess we have to put 2 characters on the wall at this point. So yeah, this Wolf boy, he's getting a place in this dead people section. He's not gonna die. I'm just not enjoying his company, to say the least. So Paul is having doubts. He's not even having doubts. He just asks, do you think she did it? And Zion is like, she had a hard life, so I'm not gonna be surprised if she did. And Paul's literally like, I think she did it. So he just cries. It's not something that you can just get out of so easy, because you literally just get married and now you are also responsible for 2 minors in the house. What a beautiful way to start a marriage. At this point, I'm just honestly missing Hunter's songs and dances and Snapchat messages, because we didn't know how happy we were. Cynthia is absolutely devastated. Her husband was just killed. Technically he was already dead, but to just lose the last of him, like his body, not being able to tell him goodbye in a proper way, I guess that really hurt her. We're going through the first trial, and this is where we meet this useless lawyer who couldn't even get us on a house arrest, like Georgia did it herself. Back to the night of wedding, when we're back in the house, Ginny asks Austin, you said you're not gonna tell anyone. What you're not gonna tell anyone? And Austin says that he saw it. He saw their mother murder Tom. And Ginny puts this responsibility, that we're getting as our inheritance in this family, that you can never tell. Well, we're off to a strong start. So Lynette is pissed that Georgia is in jail. She's like, I waited 20 years for this to happen. I waited 20 years for this to happen, and now she's finally in jail. Thank God, I told you. She waited 20 years to tell Zion, I told you. I love that this season we're gonna get more strong arc of Austin. Now he's actually getting a presence in the show. We're getting introduced to his struggles, to his doubts, to everything that he's been silently going through for the past 3 seasons. I just wanna say how much I love Georgia's and Ellen's relationship and how good their friendship is, because Ellen literally told her that's like, girl, I don't care if you did it. Even if you did it, I'm not gonna judge you, because I've been in a similar situation myself and I think you did the right thing. I am not gonna take anybody's side. I'm here just as a narrator. For somebody who had so many opinions of what has been happening so far, me being like, I'm in Switzerland right now. This season really puts you at the conflict, whether you wanna be on Georgia's side or not. Only thing that I'm willing to respect from Georgia in this entire situation, that she is not willing to frame Cynthia. She told her lawyer, we're not gonna frame Cynthia for this. She's going through enough, my girl. So this season, Ginny is getting really close to Bracia. She practically tells her that her mother told her that you can get through life if you have one good friend. And Bracia tells her, I will be your one good friend. And I guess Ginny crashes out at work because she finds out that Joe went to Tom's funeral. And at the house, Lynette goes all the way. She just lets herself speak, and she calls Georgia an egoistic piece of shit, practically, who just never prioritized anybody apart from herself. So Ginny crashes out and leaves. In this episode, we have yet another dance in Wellsbury that we probably have to take $100 out of our pocket. Ginny and Marcus, they're desperately trying to be friends. They're desperately trying to be there for each other. Obviously, they're both still love each other very much, but we're working with what we can right now. So Lynette and Simone, forgot to introduce you to Simone, but now that they're actually serious, now that Zion said that he actually loves her, I guess we can add her to the wall. They take Ginny to pick up a dress. That's where she accidentally meets Abigail. She just went to the same store with her mom, and they post a picture together, and Maxine thinks yet again that they just went to pick up a dress without her, and apparently that's a reason for Maxine to start also getting this dark thoughts that she is not everybody's top number one priority. at this tulips and gardens and taxes, Marcus gets insanely pissed together with Abigail and kisses Ginny after this. Ginny on the cloud 9 because she thinks that now they're back together, and Abigail, my girl, I think she is being supported by Nora like for the first time. So yeah. Thank you, Nora, for being good friends to Abigail. So in episode 4, Lynette is probably regretting what she said to Georgia on this dinner. So she's like, I'm gonna try to be nice to you now. Ginny is so happy. She's radiating happiness until she goes to Marcus to talk about this. And he tells her that like, I don't love you anymore. We just can't see Ginny happy. Like, this show is not about Ginny being happy. It's not about Ginny finding happiness. At school, Austin is acting insane because he doesn't want to be surrounded by this. Probably the only character who suffered more than Ginny mentally is Austin. And he just doesn't want to be in this insanity anymore. He just wants to be out of it. So he's desperately trying to get detention, which he fails. I mean, why he didn't think to go back to the forest? I mean, Georgia cannot control him this time. She's on the house arrest. Georgia throws this lawn fast, and after that, getting very upset with Joe and throws a cookie at him for him being distant. And he's like, hello, I literally told you that I have feelings for you because I cannot be like this. Like, it's not easy for me. If she wouldn't be a protagonist, like, would we root for her? Would we want her to get a happy end? Would we support her literally walking over people all the time? Like with Cynthia or like with anybody else that are not on her side. So in episode 5, Detective is back to basically stir up all the shit in her past, and this is where Paul loses it completely. He's just like, I'm her next victim. Like, I'm her next victim and you cannot prove me otherwise. Ginny wanted for these 3 seasons to share her pain with the world, for the world to see Georgia for who she really is. And now that they do, she's like, fuck. My mother is gonna go to jail. So Gil goes to Zion to like plant some seeds into his hand that's like, Georgia is evil. Our kids are not safe with her. We shouldn't trust her with our kids. So maybe let's take them out of the house. And let me tell you, you know, before Maxine is going to be so upset that girls are doing things without her, they created a separate chat to talk about, you know, if Georgia is a serial killer or not. I mean, why is Ginny not included? You can all tell her to her face. Abigail and Maxine, they're like, yeah, we need to be the support system for Ginny. While Nora, she's like, she's been triggered by the gun in the house. Now it's like a whole murder going. No, Nora is like, I'm not gonna be there. And Nora ends up being one of the best friends for Ginny. Paul is not coming home. Paul is like, I'm her next victim. So he doesn't care, you know, that he has 2 minors in the house that he kind of is responsible for now. And I'm not talking about Ginny because Ginny doesn't care. Ginny has Zion. Austin got really attached. So it's just another stone into his garden that died a long time ago. Paul is not coming home. Paul is not going to be there for him anymore. In this dark period for Austin, he's like, I don't want to go to school. I was trying to get myself in detention this whole entire time. And Ginny's like, no, we have to go to school. And then she gets attacked by the reporter, so she ends up skipping school anyways and going on a pretty cute date with Wolf. I wasn't mad at him for making her smile, for making her happy for a bit. Doesn't matter, because after this she goes to Zion and accidentally spills to him that Georgia might have done something to Kenny because Kenny was a creep who was touching her. But Zion didn't hear anything apart from Georgia killed Kenny. So he unites with Gil. They come to Georgia's house and take the kids away. Episode 6. Kids are gone. Cynthia, I'm pretty sure it's my girl Cynthia, she throws a brick. Murderer. into Georgia's window. In school, Ginny comes to Nora in front of Maxine and like, can you go to the bathroom to help me hide my hickey? I mean, obviously she didn't say, she just asked Nora to come to the bathroom. And this was the moment that I really didn't understand why she didn't take Maxine with them. And the only thing that I can think about is that probably Ginny would be thinking that like, okay, she's gonna start talking about Silver or about something else or making it all about herself or like whatever, you know, probably she'll see a hickey and be like, oh my god, do you guys remember this time that I got a hickey from someone? This would be my only assumption why they wouldn't take Maxine with them. So we're back in court and it's looking really, really bad. Like this is the darkest period for Georgia because now there is no one to support her. Back at the kindergarten for the 30-year-old Austin, Zach is pushing 45. By the way, forgot to say that in episode 3, Abigail meets her potential love interest Tris, and I loved it for Abby. Like, again, she's the only secondary character who I've tried to follow the entire trope. So even Tris got a picture printed. The Mang comes back together at the Blue Farm. Nora tells them that's like, I have been missing my period for quite some time now. I don't want to have kids with that boy. So let's go and make pregnancy tests, all of us. So all of them do. And Ginny finds out that she's pregnant. I would drop my mic, but I don't want to hurt it. This is an arc that I will never be able to forgive them, so I just refuse to have an opinion over it because I don't see what Ginny getting pregnant adds to this season. It's like they wanted to make it overly dramatic, like as if we didn't have enough going on. Like her being pregnant doesn't add shit. Almost like they just wanted like one filler episode and they were like, what can we do? Let's make Ginny pregnant. She's desperate to communicate with Georgia, so like for the first time in the season she comes to Maxine like, hey girl, can you help me? So Maxine and Sophie distract the paparazzi with their little performance, with their little spoiler of what we're about to see in the Sing Sing. So Ginny sneaks out into the house and Georgia knows straight away that like she's pregnant. Again, the daddy said that that's wild and that's why he's in the dad's man section. Same day, couple of hours later, Ginny goes and takes an abortion. Georgia is climbing all the way to the baker's house through the window to the Marcus's room and tells him to go with her. So yeah, this entire time, Joe and Georgia, they kind of been having something going on. So this time he comes back to the house and Georgia says that Ginny didn't turn out to be like me, I guess, because she decided not to keep the baby because she decided that there is more of a life to see. Yeah, she gets very happy and cries into Joe's chest and then they almost kiss, but Joe snaps out of it. He almost had it, my guy. He almost had it right. That's Wild Guy in the Dad's Man section. He comes back to tell us that he's ready to accept the baby. And Ginny's like, don't you worry, I already took care of it. I wasn't ready to be a mom and you obviously weren't ready to be a dad. So Paul finally calls Georgia, I guess, to finalize their divorce. And Georgia in this panic mode because she knew that if she's gonna divorce Paul right now, it's gonna look extremely bad in court and probably she will not be able to do anything with herself anymore. So she takes Ginny's tests and lie to Paul about being pregnant. So I assume that was the whole point of Ginny being pregnant, so Georgia can lie and manipulate Paul. When Paul is back, he's obviously extremely pissed, but this idea of being a father will kind of start growing on him. For now, he's just pissed over the fact that his child might potentially be born in prison, and that's why Georgia tells him that it's in our best interests that I don't get convicted. Gil throws away Austin's glasses, trying to wash Georgia off of him, and Cynthia steals an iPad for her 45-year-old son, Zach. Press is trying to win Abby back now that she's happy and moved on. He's like, oh my god, you want to read my essay or something? Like, I hate him so much. So Paul is obviously back in the court. It looks better on us. Ginny goes to a dinner that Abigail, our best friend Abigail, invites Ginny to meet Abigail's father's new girlfriend. Then she goes to throw up because the way Ginny burns herself, Abigail throws up and Ginny starts suspecting that she might have an eating disorder. And later on, her and Nora, which by the way ask her if she wants to come to see Austin while she's babysitting 45-year-old Zach, which was a very grand gesture for Nora because she kind of oversteps herself and her insecurities and her doubts about her family and her being as involved as Georgia is. So after that, they go and they confront Abby. Do you have eating disorder? And she's like, obviously not. I really hope that Abigail will get more screen time and her story will be developed more. But anyways, they go and egg his house, her dad's house, without Maxine. So the idea of being dad starts growing on Paul and he is ready to be back Then, after another date with Zion, he puts a seed of doubt into Paul's head that she actually might be pregnant because she's a master manipulator. So Paul comes back with a test and physically abuses the victim of abuse. Here, I feel that we've never had more conflict as Ginny&Georgia supporters community of like who's wrong and who's right in this situation. Again, I don't think that Georgia was correct of manipulating Paul this way, but again, she has a lot to lose, and Paul probably really wanting to be a father. Like, that was a really low blow for her to throw into him. Then, after this whole entire shit show is happening, Georgia decides, okay, if last year it wasn't time to run, it is time to run right now. So Joe shows up as usual. They sleep together. I hate it for myself. I hate it for Joe because this is not the way we both wanted it to happen. Like, Joe, do you have an opinion on that? We're very disappointed. She steals Marcus's bike, but she turns herself into the police because she realizes that her life is meaningless without Ginny and Austin. We get a first episode from Maxine's perspective where she's very visibly upset. She thinks that she's too much, and I'm still struggling to understand where we get this victim syndrome from. Again, just because she's not everybody's top priority, just because people have lives on their own, excluding her. I mean, Ellen told her, like, this attitude of yours, you will lose all the people around you at some point. And I guess this is what's happening right now. I love Maxine. I love Maxine so much, but before going into this deep, I never realized how undeveloped her character was, that it's like this whole victim situation was just very random. You know? So Ginny basically begs Simone to be Georgia's advocate now that Paul broke up with us and took his lawyer with him. And we get a very positive scene of Abby and Tris sitting on the tree. Kissing. Gil is trying to take Austin away, and Ginny tells him, like, if you take him away, it's gonna be very bad for you. And Gil ends up hurting Ginny physically. Like, he grabbed her to the point that she had a bloody bruise on her hand, which later on she will go to Georgia to, like, I don't know, get an advice. Mom, Gil is taking Austin away. And she's like, what can we do, honey bum? He's gonna be better with Gil, because again, it's not Ginny being taken away. Austin is not, there is no Austin's name in the name of the show. So our situation seems to get better because Simone is ready to take our case, and Ellen and Joe come to visit us in prison, you know, to get familiar with the surroundings. Max learns that girls egged Abby's father's house without her, gets upset. This time at the Sing Sing show, the only person who was crying was Maxine. Do you regret your choices in the past 2 seasons? Nothing matters, because in this episode, Austin testifies against his mother, and this boy takes the biggest load in the world somebody can possibly take and says that his dad killed Tom Fuller and he was witnessed. And we learn from the next episode that it was Ginny's mastermind plan this whole time. She tells Austin, it's us against the world, right? So you have to pick either your mom, either your dad. Then she goes and frames Cynthia for having her romance with Joe. And it's like, I have you recorded, girl. It's gonna look very bad against you in the court. Obviously, Cynthia plays along because she doesn't want for this non-existing tape to come out. And I just think that here is where we lose Ginny. You know, she just stops fighting. Like, she just stops fighting this darkness. She swallows it and becomes it. She's Georgia now. And while Georgia is a changed person, after she obviously is not guilty, wow, thank you very much, she goes back home, she gets her kids back, she almost gets her life back. She's like, maybe I should go to therapy. And Ginny's like, we don't believe in therapy in this house, mother. Therapy is for weak. Crying about your feelings will not get you anywhere. And we have 3 very big hooks that we got because Georgia goes to Paul's office and it's like, I'm not angry at you, but I'm probably gonna run my arrests against you. So probably this is something that we'll see. She might be potentially pregnant, either from Paul, either from Joe. And her parents are coming, her parents in town. I guess we discussed everything that was possible to discuss, so we'll see each other when we're gonna watch season 4. I'll remind you that I have watched season 3 on this channel if you want to check it out. I've also made another video talking about 3rd season of Ginny&Georgia, so I get a bit more into this whole Maxine, Abigail, Ginny&Georgia situation. Thank you for sticking with me. I bet it's been a long ride.